Welcome to the Yerba Power Podcast, where we share the power of yerba mate with the world. Introducing your host, Devin.
Hope you had a wonderful day today. And this being St. Patrick's Day, I want to make a little special episode and tell you a story. So let's brew another yerba mate adventure together as I tell you the story about our time in Ireland and how I found out I have a high percentage of Irish ancestry and where my name comes from. So let me start why we went to Ireland. So we were taking a trip as a baby moon. This was one of the probably the best advice that I had received. Not being a father, but before being a father, I guess, of taking a baby moon trip. What that means is, like a honeymoon trip. After you get married, you go on a trip, to be together. So the baby moon is basically a trip to take together before having the baby. So in other words, it's kind of your last time to be together without having a kid, because once you have kids, a lot of your energy is dedicated to them. And so we planned this trip to go to Europe. And the funny story about that is that we found out we were pregnant actually before heading out, like right before leaving. We had booked the trip in advance, of course, and found out we were pregnant before we left. So it was even better blessing that we were able to literally celebrate this trip as even a part of that, as a baby moon with having a baby on the way. So we were interested in a bunch of different countries. We made a plan and different places we wanted to visit, but Ireland was one of the places we both chose. We really wanted to go see. And Ireland has a lot of famous storytellers, and the culture is kind of proud of it. W.B. Yeats, who won a Nobel Prize in Literature, Oscar Wilde, wrote the book about Dorian Gray. And from our experience, we met some people that were really gifted with gab. We had a couple hosts and different people we met that were just, it's like they were just good talkers. And I kind of wonder, if that's being a storyteller and being able to relate something is what people really, it's our culture, like not our culture is, what is a bigger word than that? It's just like in our DNA, who we are. We as humans communicate through stories. And it's something that's really interesting to me because a lot of the podcasts are really good, have these really good stories that really drag you in. I'm trying to work on that craft as well. And it's something I really enjoy about doing this communicating through this format. I really appreciate all you all that listen. And it's also, Yerba Mate is kind of that tool too. It's like my mic. It gives me a platform to speak. And so we were both wanted to explore the Emerald Isle, as it's known in Ireland. It's for its allure and its mysticism it kind of gives off. And we had a really welcoming entrance into the country, as far as going through immigration and all that, no problems. And actually, a hilarious story to me was we were looking for the hostel we were going to spend the night there in Dublin. And, it was late at night after we got to the airport and everything. And I had the map, but didn't know exactly where to go. And, of course, all the streets look the same or whatever, and it's dark. And so asking for directions, this guy walking down the street, because me trying to be the good husband is like, well, let me ask for directions instead of just thinking, if we walked around enough, let's get us there, And so there's this drunk guy, and thinking, maybe it was going to be a problem or whatever. But no, he was, the extra friendly drunk guy. And it was funny because he, asked me where he's from. And, it depends on who asks me, but I just said Arkansas because that's where I grew up. And he's like, oh, yeah, we love Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton is the U.S. president that was from Arkansas. It's basically the Arkansas's claim of fame. And Bill Clinton was a big, I guess, catalyst for the having the ceasefire with North Ireland and all the conflict there. So anyways, it's like, well, we love Bill Clinton. So it was kind of funny to, I guess, be welcomed in that kind of way. And the next morning we had this delicious Irish breakfast, the typical, like, with the tea and the Irish sausage and all that stuff. And it was at a pub that was right off the river, the Liffey River right there, that runs through Dublin. And it was just like this regular, pub. Like, you would think it would have been a tourist trap kind of thing. Because to be honest, it wasn't anything special, but it was a really good meal. And it felt authentic, even though it felt kind of like you're being the touristy guy here, just getting the Irish breakfast, sure, whatever. Like, people don't really do this, but you felt like normal there. It was the coolest thing, I guess, is you feel like you're in this. It's a capital city, but you feel like you're just in this small town. And we did a bunch of tourist stuff after that. We took a double-decker bus. We, saw some of the tourist sites, the Dublin Castle, Temple Bar. It's this like famous pub that's red and paint and looks just a cool photo op. And the Dublin Castle is where, all the royalty and stuff were. And then, of course, Guinness. Did the tour there at Guinness, and this was when I was drinking at the time. And even if I wasn't drinking, or well, I'm not drinking anymore, but even if going now, I would recommend the Guinness tour. It was very entertaining and just a great experience because they explain to you all the thing. It's cool to see behind the scenes, but then they had this such a big fanfare entertainment, the Irish dancers and the music and everything make this big party. And then you get to go up into this like rotunda sky dome tower where you can see the whole city up there. And it's a really cool experience. And then after that, I think was the next day. I'm not sure, looking back at my pictures and stuff, trying to remember which days it was, but we scheduled a tour of Hoth, which is like a town outside of Dublin. And so I did this through like, I think, the Airbnb tours you could do at the time. I don't know if that's still a thing, but like you schedule a private tour. And it was basically this walk and talk tour, where a local guide just walked us through the town and took us on a little hike and pointed out all these just ancient ruins and stuff that were just so cool to see and just normal people. Um, but we took a train out of Dublin to there and hiked around and came to the pub to finish the tour and had a Guinness in the chat and everything. And, he's really selling us on the stuff and the tours and stuff. And, but it was just a cool guy, just loved to talk. And they had a special like trivia night or something going on there, promoted the dinner that they had there. Oh, they have great food. And, we're thinking he's just selling us another thing, but we were, hungry. We decided to stay and we had this like stew, I think it was, but it was really good. I remember thinking like, oh man, this is another tourist trap. And this, cause you think in the US, like bar food, this is going to be terrible. But I remember like, was blown away that like this food was actually good. I was thinking the way the tourist trap food. And again, it's like, you feel like you're in part of the town and not, um, just this outside stranger. It was, I don't know, I really enjoyed that experience. And overall, we had a great experience and flew back home from there and would love to go again. And if you haven't been to Ireland, it is a magical place. I don't even know how to explain it. And we didn't even see a whole lot of it. I mean, it was really just Dublin. And so about my name and ancestry. So this is kind of the fun part, even interweaving this story, was my name actually comes from Irish Gaelic. And I've seen different interpretations of what my name means as far as, what it translates to like in English. But the one I like the most is poet. And to me, that's even cooler interweaving of the story because it's very interesting that, being the Irish storytelling and all that, um, and then poet being a translation for that is really cool. And then I assumed with my last name and knowing where my grandparents came from and their ancestry that I would have a whole bunch of German percentage in my ancestry. And my wife and I did a 23andMe a couple of years ago, and this was before knowing all this. But nope, from 23andMe, I'm almost half percentage Irish. So I think that's just even the cooler part of it, telling this story is that all these little things that you would never think about and you wouldn't know about me, I guess. And it's just I just wanted to, I don't know, tell the story to you guys as if one of my friends, we're sitting here drinking latte together, that, hey, did you know my name's Irish and I actually have a huge percentage of Irish? And hey, let me tell you about my story about Ireland. So that's really all that I just wanted to record this podcast about. Nothing else really, you know, big lesson to learn here other than I wanted it to be like a conversation between you and I. And I'll leave you with this. A little Irish luck. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face until we meet again. May the Lord hold you in the palm of his hand. A little Irish luck for you as you go about your day. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And if not, don't worry, there'll be more Yerba Mate content coming soon. So stay tuned. I've got a couple of reviews coming up on a couple different companies that I've been excited to try. Yerba Mate Rojo, Heretic Yerba Mate, and Hugo Yerba Mate are a couple of coming up, as well as, yes, Mark, I haven't forgot about Cruz de Malta and Cacha Mate, and anything else you guys want, send me a message. I'd be glad to do it. Let me know if you enjoyed this episode. I'd love to hear back from you. And if you want to hear other travel stories or different off topics, I'd be glad to do this. This is fun for me. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.